You're watching ABC 7 News at 7.
Now, wait, you can't do it through an executive order. We're going to be signing an executive order. We're going to also count on Congress, obviously, but we are signing an executive order in a little while. We're going to keep families together, but we still have to maintain toughness, or our country will be overrun.
Despite saying an executive order couldn't be signed, President Trump signs an executive order about kids in cages. But will the order actually change anything? And what is up with Melania's jacket? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the week in Washington in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. Sarasota police say a local attorney took advantage of families by stealing the money left behind by their loved ones. 63-year-old Jordan Wallach has been arrested and disbarred. 3 former clients brought complaints to police after similar experiences with Wallach. They say Wallach refused to give back personal funds people hired him to keep in a trust account. One victim says it's making it even harder to deal with the passing of her mother.
Here we are a year and a half after her passing, now just still dealing with the fight. It's terrible.
Wallach faces a grand theft charge after police say he misappropriated over $215,000 in client funds. A Charlotte County woman is accused of child neglect after deputies say they found her 5-year-old daughter wandering the streets by herself. Police say Nasika Mathurin left the child home while she went to the gas station for food. A witness says the child was half naked walking around an apartment complex parking lot, and when she took her home, the apartment was empty. Deputies say that they found her home filled with rotting food, garbage, and maggots. The child has been placed under protective services, and Mathurin has been released on bond. Senator Marco Rubio has visited a Miami area facility housing more than 1,000 teenage migrants. After his tour today, Rubio said he didn't speak to any of the children inside the Homestead complex because of privacy regulations. Officials say all the children are classified as unaccompanied minors, including fewer than 70 who were separated from adult relatives at the border.
It's very sad. It's a terrible situation. Obviously, you never want to see anybody in these circumstances. We need to ensure that, irrespective of how someone came here or what legal status they're under, we're the United States of America, and we should have the highest standards possible.
Rubio adding the desire to keep families together needed to be supported with policies that would help prevent people from making dangerous journeys to flee violence in their homelands. Concern tonight about severe beach erosion as thousands prepare to head to Lido Beach for the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix. Hurricane Irma and Tropical Storm Alberto left Lido Beach looking like this. While sand renourishment is on its way, it won't be here before the time of the beach's busiest weekend of the year, next weekend. Spectators will pack the beach for the powerboat races. This year, they're asked to be pack light and leave their tents at home.
It's going to be tough to make room for everybody. So if you bring as little as possible, maybe a beach chair, a cooler, and a raft. The best spot to watch the races is the water.
Sarasota County will be putting up fencing to keep spectators off the dunes. Also, fencing is up and around turtle nests and the beach's nesting birds for protection. Qualifying for the 2018 election ended at noon today for those running for governor, the state legislature, and cabinet. Florida's gubernatorial primary will be crowded with 2 Republicans running, including Agricultural Commissioner Adam Putnam and Congressman Ron DeSantis. There are 5 Democrats in the field, including Central Florida businessman Chris King, who filed his paperwork this morning.
I still have lots and lots of work to do, and that for any of the candidates, this is a daunting task, and I've got 10 weeks to try to complete the job.
It's a little bit surreal, but certainly part of the process to qualify. I wanted to do it in person.
In the legislature, 140 of the 160 seats are up for election this fall. Several lawmakers essentially won re-election today when no one filed to run against them. Adam Putnam may be the front runner on the GOP side and the favorite of a lot of Suncoast Republicans, But President Trump is officially backing someone else. Trump is giving his full endorsement to U.S. Congressman Ron DeSantis. Trump tweeting out his support for the Republican today. Recent polls show him trailing Putnam. Putnam also has raised more money. Trump said DeSantis is strong on borders, tough on crime, and big on cutting taxes. And he added that the brilliant young leader will be a great governor. Governor Rick Scott is stepping down from the post because of term limits. And now let's head over to ABC 7's chief meteorologist Bob Harrigan with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Alan, Friday Fest taking place right now at the Van Wezel with Jump Movement, the band being played there. It's a free concert, but it's a warm one. No rain expected, but 96, that's what it feels like right now. The pressure 2996, we have a west wind at 12, and that's bringing that high dew point in at 75 degrees, making it feel all that much hotter out there. All the storms again, central Florida and along the East Coast, and that's typically what you get when you get a west wind and a westerly component that we're seeing right now. That could change a little bit over the upcoming days as we head into the work week. Now, we have a few showers out in the Gulf of Mexico. We had a few around earlier today, isolated near Venice and to the east of the I-75 into Sarasota County, but not much going on there now. You can see the heavier storms scattered about on the East Coast and into central Florida right now, but not much here. These may hold on, but it's unlikely. Most of the shower activity has been weakening as it pushes toward Pinellas County. But boy, there's been some big weather near Orlando, now along the East Coast, near Cape Canaveral, approaching there, near Deltona as well. The wide picture showing this high pressure ridge now down to our south, and that's been bumped down there by this trough of low pressure over the southeast United States. And with this high in that position, we get this onshore west wind. This is typically a high pressure system is up here, and it's usually bringing us that east to southeasterly wind flow, but that will happen on Sunday, I believe, and into the early part of next week. Winds will be light, and it looks as though we will see those winds stay out of the west throughout the day on Saturday, so expect more of the same. Now you want to make sure you download our ABC7 First Alert Weather app. That is available at all your stores, so download that. We'll have updates throughout the summer on the lightning and the storms around. You also can track hurricanes and tropical systems with that mobile weather app. That is free to you, and we expect you to have that stay with you throughout the storm season. Alan?
Bob, thank you. About 500 more of the 2,300 children separated from their families at the U.S.-Mexico border have been reunited, but there are still hundreds more separated with no clear answers on when they will be reunited. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has more from California.
7-year-old Darwin separated from his mother at the border more than a month ago. Now back in her arms. One of 500 migrant children reunited with their parents since May, according to an administration official. But still, at least 1,800 more kids being held in foster care and shelters across the country remain in limbo. The Trump administration still with no set plan on how to reunite them with their families.
The government should be in the business of keeping families together, not tearing them apart.
Among those waiting, 6-year-old Allison Jimena Valencia Madrid from El Salvador. Heard in this recording first obtained by ProPublica, begging to call her aunt. This week, ProPublica was there listening to one of those calls.
The fact that Jimena was able to memorize this phone number turned out to be a really lucky thing for her.
Days after signing an executive order now keeping families detained at the border together while the adults await court hearings.
I didn't like the sight or the feeling of families being separated.
President Trump tweeting today telling Republican lawmakers to stop wasting their time on immigration until after the November midterm elections. Still, Congress is expected to vote on an immigration bill next week as more protests are planned here near the border and across the country. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, El Cajon, California.
Coming up next, President Trump's 2016 campaign chair in Florida, the chairwoman of the Manatee County Democratic Party and the very best political reporter on the Suncoast on immigration, and Melania's jacket. Meet me at the trapezoid.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
The summer sizzles at the Players Center with the opening of Crossing Delancey. City cultures collide in this charming play about a young woman searching for love and the New York dream. Opening June 14th, call 365-2494 or visit theplayers.org. Get your tickets to the perfect romantic comedy, Crossing Delancey.
When my youngest, Addie, was 2.5, she was diagnosed with leukemia. When we first heard that diagnosis, you feel extremely alone. Walking in that Light the Night light with 6,000 people carrying lights, white for survivors, red for supporters, gold in memory of those who have passed. It's the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's hope that every year there are fewer gold lanterns. Your lantern will make a difference.
Start a team, join a team.
Help us light the night.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves some green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Welcome back. A first on this broadcast, I am going to quote the wise sages from Fox and Friends, specifically Brian Kilmeade, who today, when defending the president's policy of forced family separation, said, quote, "Like it or not, these aren't our kids. Show them compassion, but it's not like he is doing this to people of Idaho or Texas. These are people from another country." A lot of you folks are yelling at the TV right now saying, "Damn right." And a lot of you folks are pulling out your hair in disbelief that anyone would be so cavalier about separating children from their parents, and those who would wholeheartedly agree. But if you are a fan of the president and what he is doing, consider this. A lot of folks pulling out their hair right now are not only Republicans, but they're conservatives who vote. And there's a midterm election coming, and the consequences for this president couldn't be bigger. Yes, it could impact the governor's race and the state legislature, but who controls Congress will determine not only the president's agenda in Washington, but also possibly impeachment, should the special counsel find grounds for it. And joining us for more are President Trump's 2016 and maybe 2020 Florida campaign chair, Joe Gruters, Cheryl Wilson, the chair of the Manatee Democratic Party, and Zach Anderson, the political reporter of the Herald Tribune. So, Joe, what do you think about that?
Well, listen, I think the president said he didn't want to separate families. I'm glad he reversed the policy.
But
I think it was a
decision
mistake. But the laws were on the books. I think Bill Clinton signed it. I think it was happening under Obama. It doesn't matter who started it. It was a mistake. I'm glad that Donald Trump came out this week and corrected the issue. We shouldn't be separating families. It's wrong. I have kids. Nobody wants to see families separated. But the problem that we have to ask ourselves as a country is, do we want to have a country with borders? So and the problem is these Democrats, now it's not enough. Reuniting the families is not enough. Now they're saying they want the parents.
Hold on 1 second.
Now they're saying they want the parents.
So today the president tells the GOP, stop wasting time on immigration?
Because the Democrats now said, okay, it's okay that we're now reuniting the families, but now we should allow the families to go ahead and walk into America without going through the proper channels. The question is should we have borders or not? And the question is if we want to have a free flow of people, it's okay, but people should admit that.
Alan, your question, though, was what does Joe think about the comment that was made on Fox News? That was your question. And your observation is that a lot of Americans, regardless of their political affiliation, regardless of whether they support the president or not, are pulling their hair out over what the president has said, what the president has done. That was the question. And what I'm glad to see is that the party that is the family values, the moral high ground, the ethical people are finally finding an issue where they can say, whoa, this is enough.
And you mentioned to me right before we went on the air, George Will has just written about this, basically encouraging Republicans to vote for Democrats. You've heard a lot of other conservatives like Orrin Hatch saying that the policy of separating children was wrong. What kind of danger does this really mean for the president and the Republican control of Congress, or as I said, even in local races?
Yeah, George Will, a longtime conservative columnist, came out and said that people should just vote for Democrats to basically act as a check on president. And it seems like what drove him over the edge was this immigration issue, and it just shows how bad of an issue this is politically for the GOP. However you feel about immigration, most people, the majority of people, do not like the idea of taking children away from their parents. The Republican Party, they were starting to see some encouraging signs. Trump's approval rating is up. The economy is doing well. Republicans don't want to be talking about this. You saw both local Republican congressmen here in this area, Vern Buchanan and Tom Rooney, come out against this. There was a lot of pressure on Trump, and it was fairly remarkable to see him backpedal. He usually doesn't back down, which just shows how bad of an issue this was for Republicans.
We should be thanking our president for reversing the decision and reuniting the families.
Well, it was his decision.
Everybody here should be, we all agree that kids should not be separated. The president agrees, he's made the decision, let's move on. Now the Democrats, though, want to allow open access into America for the entire family. That's the big question now. Do we want borders or not? Do we want to have a country of laws or not?
Well, and the law is that families or individuals seeking asylum are not breaking the law. And a big group of the people at the borders and a big group of those children were asylum seekers.
They're all coming over, being educated by
how come I never
attorneys right before they head in?
Why don't I ever recall any Republicans complaining about Cuban refugees getting on those rafts, some of them drowning between here and Cuba? Once they reached the shore, the moment they stepped on it, they were welcome into this country.
That was a unique situation, but that's it.
Well, that was 25 years ago as well.
But they were also fleeing oppression. And you know what's going on in places like Guatemala and El Salvador right now. These people are running out of a burning house, and they're grabbing their children and looking for some place to go.
So I think there's 11 embassies in Mexico that they can go to and seek asylum. They don't have to go all the way to the border. What's going on here is these guys are being trained. They're saying, listen, go to the border, seek asylum, and you get a free pass into America. That's not fair for everybody who's been going through the system trying to do it the right way. The question we have to ask ourselves is, do we want borders or not? And if you don't want borders, then fine. Right? Then that's a policy decision. I'm saying we need borders as a country to move forward together.
We're getting warmed up. Our conversation on the Week in Washington will continue after a quick break.
It's getting loud, too.
According to a new survey by U.S. News and World Report, 3 of Alabama's top 4 hotels and resorts are part of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail Resort Collection. The Grand Hotel Marriott Resort in Point Clear, the Battle House Renaissance Mobile Hotel and Spa, and the Renaissance Birmingham Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa. Hey, we didn't invent Southern hospitality. We just offer more of it. Visit rtjgolf.com/resorts to find out more.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 78.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Well, this is the look at Casey Key webcam showing pretty calm conditions out there for boating this weekend. Looks to be okay. We're not expecting anything too significant as far as wave height goes. There could be some isolated showers in the morning causing some issues, but not many. And it looks as though those will be moving pretty quickly off to the east, too, with this persistent west wind that we've had for the past several days now, which favors inland storms and the east coast storms as well, but not much going on here. This also sets up a pattern that allows us to see a few morning showers around, just a few very isolated showers developing along the land breeze as opposed to the sea breeze. But right now you can see those bigger storms well to the east of our immediate viewing area. Some showers well to the west of Pinellas County, but these have not been holding together as they have been rather weak, pushing off to the east. There's nothing really to hold them up there at that point. And then the stronger cells near Fort Pierce, stretching down near Palm City and to the west of Lake Okeechobee, a little lake breeze developing there and enhancing those storms in southeast Highlands County. Storm height on these up to 40,000 feet, and it is producing some lightning. Normally during the summer, these storms reach up to 40 to 50,000 feet, and that's when you get the tens of thousands of lightning strikes across the area, but we're not seeing that right now. High pressure still has been bumped down to our south. This high pressure ridge will move a little bit off to the north on Saturday and especially on Sunday. Be pretty much over the top of us, and that will allow for storms to be slow movers. So slow movers can produce up to about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain in just a short period of time. And this will also give us a little bit better chance to see more storms on Sunday in this position. Also, maybe even a few coastal storms. We haven't had that lately, but right now it's stuck down there in the Florida Straits, and it will stay that way on Saturday. I mentioned just a slight chance for a few brief showers in the morning. Not much. Most areas will stay dry. Temperatures will warm up, but the big story will be the heat index. We're talking heat indices up near 100 to 105 degrees, especially inland areas throughout the peak of the day. In fact, I checked the heat index at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning is expected to be 94 degrees. So again, we are looking for that heat to continue to rise. You watch those guys, by the way, Monday. They got a little weekend break right now. Futurecast showing some clouds again expected to break up for the most part. Here comes the 11 o'clock shot. You can see a few showers around in the morning developing off to the east as a result of that westerly flow. And then by Sunday, things change around just a little bit. You'll notice we had a little bit more of an east wind at night, bringing some of those showers back toward the coast. On Sunday morning, a chance for a few isolated showers in the morning. You'll notice this is at noon 30, some showers and storms developing right near the coast. And again, it's not going to be a wide coverage of storms. We'll see scattered storms at noon on Sunday. The rain chance, though, a little bit higher than it has been as a result of some increased moisture and the weakening of that weak high pressure ridge, with the forecast calling for a 60% chance of rain on Sunday. Well, 87 right now at this hour. It feels like 96 degrees out there. The relative humidity 67%. We have a west wind at 12, and the pressure is at 2996, which is still fairly high. Our high today was again above average. That has continued all week long, with just a few degrees above average. Now the record is 98, and typically with a 98-degree temperature, you got an east wind. That's when we see our record high temperatures, but it felt much warmer than 98, and no rainfall to report today here at the airport. So far for the month, we're 2.45 inches below average because of that westerly component we've seen, and for the year, we're over an inch below average. The forecast heat index, here it is, 9 a.m., 94 degrees, 96 at 10. It'll feel like 98 at noon, and so yeah, the heat goes on and on. You want to be in an air conditioning. Air conditioning is the best, obviously, but if you're outdoors, try to stay in the shade as much as possible. Low pressure trough is really the culprit of knocking that high pressure down to our south, but notice nothing going on in the tropics. All is quiet there in the Gulf of Mexico and into the Caribbean. West winds for boaters tomorrow. Seas running 2 feet or less with a light chop out there. The water temperature really steamy, 87 degrees, and the UV index will be high tomorrow at a 12. 7-day forecast shakes out like this: 89 for high tomorrow. Heat index up near 100. Sunday, probably not to 100 because of increased cloud cover, but we'll still see a little bit better chance for scattered showers and storms. That rain chance staying anywhere from 40 to 50% through Friday of next week. High temperatures right around average for this time of year. Alan will be back with his guest right after this. Stick around.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Thank you.
What are you doing? You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit HelpSaveTheNextGirl.com and get involved.
Are you a food lover, restaurant goer, or home cook? Then check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC 7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, and helpful step-by-step videos. And you'll love the restaurant guide with direct links to your favorite Suncoast eateries. Whether you're cooking in or dining out, whet your appetite with tasty tips from Chef Judy at mysuncoast.com/dining. You're watching ABC 7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back. We are talking about the week in Washington, and joining us for more is President Trump's 2016 Florida campaign chair, Joe Gruters, Cheryl Wilson, the chair of the Manatee Democratic Party, and Zach Anderson, the political editor of the Herald Tribune. This immigration issue, what's been happening down on the border, has so dominated all news headlines over this week that we really have to continue to talk about it. And here is, I don't know anybody who really understands what Melania Trump did yesterday. On one hand, she goes to the border, she tours one of these facilities, a good thing, showing that she and the president and the administration care about these children, and I believe we have the photo that everybody's talking about at this point. She wears a cheap jacket that says, "I really don't care, do you?" Now, Joe, I don't understand this from any particular angle. Obviously, that's not something you want to say when you are going to visit children who have been separated from their families. I don't think anybody believes what the president is saying, that it was a message to the news media. And even if she wanted to send a message to the news media, this place, this time, as she's going to visit these children, doesn't make sense from any angle.
98% of the news that's coverage on the president and his family is all negative. I think it's exactly what it was.
So you're going to make that point as you're going to visit children separated from their families. You're trying to show that you care, and you're wearing a billboard that says, "I don't care."
She doesn't care about what the media says and what the fake news is and what they're putting out about the president nonstop and the family. Listen, the president cares deeply about everybody in this country, immigrants, non-immigrants,
really believe that?
children.
Yeah, Alan, I was going to call BS earlier, but I'm really going to call BS on that one. You know, I'm with you. I was very glad to see Melania Trump make the trip. It was encouraging to see that she was going to be there, but you know, the conclusion you can come to is, one, she is tone deaf, two, she is badly controlled, or three, she is the First Lady of passive aggressiveness. There is no explanation for it. She has a history of doing it, and we wonder who the passive aggressiveness is aimed toward.
It's aimed towards the media and their constant lies about the president and the media and the negative coverage over and over again.
We've learned to tune him out on his media attacks. We've just learned that that's going to be the argument that's going to be presented.
And that's why he does the rallies directly with the American people.
And you know, the media is fair game. If you want to criticize the media, go ahead, but why be ambiguous about it? Why do it on the back of your jacket? Why not just come out and say you don't like the media coverage? I don't feel like I'm, qualified to comment on the First Lady's fashion choices, but I will say that, when you are a public figure like the First Lady, and you do something, people are going to scrutinize everything that you do. So I do think it's fair game to ask what did she mean by this? And it is odd that she would make a statement like this when she's going to visit immigrant children at the border.
And apparently it was called to her attention during the visit, and she put the jacket back on to wear it again. So again, I come back, she's either tone deaf, she's controlled, or she's sending her own message.
On the other hand, one of the most incredible angles to this week was the Time magazine cover, and I believe we also have that with the little girl who was obviously crying. It was the picture was taken from a scene shot in Texas this week, and President Trump looking over on the girl and really kind of captured what the issue is in terms of these children at the border. But Zach, it turns out that the photographer who took that picture was never sure whether that child was removed from its mother. The child's father says, in fact, the child wasn't. So that really calls into question everything that the president and many of his supporters say about, I dare say, fake news, and how the media is so often unfair to this president.
Yeah, I don't think it was, the Time did the media a good service here by, not, kind of vetting this a little bit more. And I think they did run some type of correction that sort of said that this girl was never taken away from her parents. But you need to really be airtight about this. The media has come under a lot of criticism. Obviously, conservatives are very suspicious of the media. The president has accused the media of making things up. I don't believe that. I think most journalists are very ethical and try to do their job and get the facts right and tell the truth as best as they can ascertain it. But when you're not doing your due diligence, and it did seem like with this cover that they were sort of, the assumption was that this girl had been removed from her parents. So, whether or not they meant to make that explicit or not, I think that you do have to be careful about these images.
Cheryl, obviously, and Zach really kind of said it all there, but it does, show how polarized we have become on this issue. Because there are a lot of people who are yelling into their TV sets. Well, they usually do when I'm on anyway. But this is what they say. These are the comments that they leave. And in fact, this was a mistake that should never have been made.
This was a mistake that should have never been made. It's unfortunate that it happened. But the message that it sent is still the message of the day.
But that's, but you can't say that the message is correct when the photo is wrong.
Messages are sent with words. Messages are sent with images. Messages are sent with photographs. The photograph was wrong. The setting was not completely clear on how it was attributed. But the message that was being sent was the same, whether it had been said with words, whether it was a sketch of a child that the president's looking at, or whether it happened to be a photograph.
Joe, I'm not going to let you off the hook here with a softball reaction to this. What I will say is that if Time Magazine is apologizing for this factual error that was really bad, and ABC News had to apologize for something else that they did earlier this week in terms of accusing Paul Manafort of manslaughter, these news organizations are apologizing when they screw up. And it's fair to ask, why doesn't this president apologize when he lies?
What we've seen here, just from what you just heard from Cheryl here, is a continuing pattern of facts when it's good for you. The problem is the cover was a lie. The child was not separated from the parent. The dad came out and said that. And Time, I think, actually this afternoon came out and said they defend the cover as it was printed. The problem is the reason why the public is so upset. The media is filled, especially the national media, maybe not you and Zach, but the national media is filled with liberal elitists who are part of the swamp, who are trying to change the direction of the country, and if you're not in that mindset, they're going to take you, they're going to try to do everything they can to take you out. 98% of the coverage on this president has been negative, and it's not acceptable.
Well, I mean,
when all the positive things that are happening.
You still didn't answer Alan's question. Why doesn't the president apologize like the media did?
He did. He said it was a mistake, and he changed it. At least the president's willing to say, okay, we made a mistake, and we're going to go and we're going to change this policy and reunite families. What do the Democrats do? They say, well, it's not enough. Now we want the families to give free reign into America, a golden ticket.
We're not talking.
That's what's going on.
What my question to you is: the president tells mistruths often, and I don't see a lot of Republicans calling him out when he does that.
The president's doing a phenomenal job leading this great country.
That's
He's
not
doing a phenomenal job,
You're
and
three
we're
for
very
three,
fortunate.
That's not my
Joe.
question.
You're 3 for 3.
Are you concerned that when the opinion is one thing, facts are stubborn? Why don't a lot of Republicans call him out? If anything,
I think Republicans do, and sometimes I think a lot of Republicans have called him out. But the problem is nobody ever calls the Democrats out because all they do is attack the president. We need a fair and balanced media, and thank goodness for Fox News to come and provide that balance on our side.
My comment to Alan was that magazine cover was a mistake and should have never happened. I can say
Zach,
that.
you get the last word here.
Well, I think you make a good point, Alan. The media does try and come out and correct errors when they have them. I think Time defended this cover. You can question that. I bet they were basically saying what Cheryl said, and that the The image was a photoshopped image, obviously. It wasn't necessarily a journalistic image, but it was taking something that was true that happened and using it for a photo montage to try and make a point about the president. But there was some errors within the story, I believe, that said that she was actually separated from her parents. So it's a complicated issue, but I think the media does try and overall get it right and correct things when they're wrong.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in just a moment.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
It fell off the roof of my car.
It fell out of my backpack.
Oh, it fell off my grocery cart.
I tossed it to a really clumsy friend.
I tripped while jogging.
My 2-year-old had a temper tantrum.
It bounced down 2 flights of stairs.
No matter how you broke your smartphone, there's only one smart way to fix it. Batteries plus bulbs.
I dropped it on the floor, and he stepped on it.
Schedule your repair at batteriesplus.com.
According to Golf Digest, 2 of the nation's top golf resorts are on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, the Auburn Opelika Marriott at Grand National, and the Renaissance Ross Bridge Golf Resort and Spa in Birmingham. Plus, the Marriott at Grand National was recognized as Hotel of the Year by Marriott International. Experience luxury and world-class golf Southern style. Visit RTJ Golf/resorts or call 800-949-4444 to book your trip to the trail.
Florida Studio Theater presents Always Patsy Cline, extended due to popular demand. A tuneful tribute, the story of Patsy's rise to stardom is told by her biggest fan. Featuring such hit songs as Walkin' After Midnight, I Fall to Pieces, Crazy, and many more you know and love. Critics are calling Always Patsy Cline a genuine hit. Audiences are calling it outstanding. Always Patsy Cline is now playing. Tickets can be purchased at 941-366-9000 or floridastudiotheater.org.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
And our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. Big news in the race for governor today, at least on the Republican side, the President Trump making an endorsement of Ron DeSantis, not Adam Putnam, who has been the front runner for a long time, well known to this community, has the support of a lot of Suncoast Republicans. Joe, what is your take on this?
I think the president sticks with his friends. I think the Congressman DeSantis was with him early, and I think he's rewarding him. The question is will it be enough in a primary to help DeSantis win? The thing is Adam Putnam, DeSantis is a great conservative congressman. He's on Fox News all the time. He's going against Adam Putnam, who's basically been running for governor for 20 years, and who's probably made 50 or 60 or 70 trips here to Sarasota to meet with everybody you could imagine who has relationships that he's had for decades, and he's a very popular guy.
But at least on the Republican side, we saw just this week in the primaries in South Carolina, where the president going after a Republican congressman, Mark
Sanford, who also cheated on his wife.
We know that. That cost him the primary, the president's endorsement of his opponent. So what the president says on the Republican primary matters.
It does matter. And listen, he's going to continue to support his friends. And frankly, I'm glad I was his chairman here in Florida because it should help me long term. The president's a great guy. I think the base loves him. I think he's doing a great job for our country. He's stimulated the economy of record job growth. There's more jobs and there are employees to fill them. He's doing a phenomenal job as our president. We just got to give him the power and the ability to keep on moving us forward.
Cheryl, I know that you have a dog in this fight, but I mean, it is interesting.
It is, but I'm still caught up in what Joe just said about Mark Sanford cheated on his wife, so that's what defeated him. So it makes a lot of sense to bring a president who has cheated on 2-3 wives in to support your gubernatorial candidate. That doesn't make any sense either.
Alan, it seems like in a lot of these GOP primaries this year, the overriding factor has been loyalty to Trump, and candidates that haven't been loyal to Trump have been punished. And so it's no small thing to get Trump's full-throated endorsement. But Putnam, Joe makes a good point. Putnam has been campaigning a long time. He's got a big grassroots support network. A Fox News poll came out this week that showed him with nearly twice as much support as DeSantis. DeSantis' campaign seems to largely consist of going on Fox News, although he started to ramp up his grassroots campaigning a little bit. The question is if he's got the president's support and if he's able to ramp up his advertising a little bit and campaign a little bit harder, does that get him and Putnam closer? I think it does.
All right, we have to leave it there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on a possible trade war. With tariffs being imposed on Canada, Mexico, and many European countries, the question is this the beginning of a trade war? Then there is China. President Trump imposing another $50 billion in tariffs against China earlier this week. So we went to Facebook for your thoughts, and Sam says Trump is a businessman. He will get the best deal for the U.S. Michael says Trump is an idiot. He will trash the economy way bigger than the last Republican did. And Kevin says, yes, we will feel it. Trump has not made a single deal yet. And Troy says, or we could just continue to get taken advantage of. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And we want to thank our guests for being here tonight. President Trump's 2016, maybe 2020 Florida campaign chair, Joe Gruters, Cheryl Wilson, the chair of the Manatee Democratic Party, and Zach Anderson, the political editor of the Herald Tribune. When we return, should Republicans hold off any changes to immigration like the president is suggesting? But right now, let's get a final check on our first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Alan, good afternoon, good evening. Friday looking pretty nice out there as far as boating is concerned. It looks like the seas will stay below 2 feet too. We are looking at generally light winds out of the west throughout the morning, picking up a little bit with that sea breeze in the afternoon. Now the Titan radar picture showing some bigger storms along the east coast. Orlando got slammed by some heavy weather earlier today. That has since moved on. Some showers out in the Gulf of Mexico, not having much success making it all the way to the coast, although one trying there into northern portions of Pinellas County. It's pretty quiet. Manatee and Sarasota counties. We had a little brief shower earlier this morning along I-75 just to the east of Venice. You can see 1 or 2 showers out there in the Gulf of Mexico. But there's just not enough convergence set up for any significant rainfall here. It'll stay that way on Saturday. Sunday, a different story. A little bit better chance to maybe see some rain developing along that sea breeze front. You can see that near Fort Pierce starting to exit off into the Atlantic there. And the lake breeze rather active down near Lake Okeechobee with some bigger cells there. These have come down considerably. They were at 40,000 feet. Now they're dropping down to 20 at points. That's the reason why you don't see much lightning out there at this point. High pressure continues to stay to our south right now. This high pressure ridge will eventually drift off to the north and position itself just to the east of the state. And we will see a little bit better chance for those coastal showers and storms coming into play. But for tomorrow, we have the start of the Bob Rizzi Memorial Golf Tournament at the Meadows, and that should be okay weather-wise. There's an isolated chance for a shower or two, but not much. Temperatures will stay warm, and that kind of kicks off the whole Suncoast festivities as far as the Grand Prix is concerned. Futurecast showing fair skies overnight, 1 or 2 showers possible along the coast in the morning, and then mainly inland in the afternoon and evening. That's the Futurecast with the forecast model. And Sunday, maybe a little bit better chance to seeing some showers to start the late morning, early afternoon hours off in the late afternoon. There's a shift a little bit further off into the inland areas, but still the rain chance is much higher on Sunday than it is on Saturday. 87 right now, and the feels like temperature is high at 96 degrees right now. And the high today warmed to 91, above average. This morning's low, look at that, 82 degrees. That was our low temperature for today, and no rainfall to report officially at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. Tomorrow's forecast, the heat index will be at 96 by 10. 98 by noon, and that will stay that way right until 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. In some places even a little higher than that. In the tropics, thankfully, all is quiet right now. Nothing to show you really. No significant areas of low pressure developing at this point. And June, typically a very quiet month in the tropics. We usually have one storm every 3 years or so developing. Elsewhere across the U.S., an upper level low spinning across Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio, bringing some clouds and showers there, and some pretty good energy moving through western portions of Kansas tonight, producing some rough weather. Temperatures 69 is cool in Boston and New York, and the nation's capital now at 69 degrees, 73 in Indianapolis, and much warmer out west, 85 now in Salt Lake City. For boaters, looks good. Seas running 2 feet or less. A light chop on the bays and inland waters. And the extended forecast looks like this. We'll have a chance for a shower tomorrow, 1 or 2, and then better chances scattered about on Sunday. Anywhere from a 40 to 50% chance right through the work week next week. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Every time you purchase a fishing license or register your boat, you're helping to preserve our nation's coastlines, lakes, rivers, and streams, protecting memories for generations to come. Learn how your participation in boating and fishing can help the environment at takemefishing.org/conservation.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump is asking Republicans to hold off on acting on immigration. ABC's Arlette Saenz has more from the White House.
For days, President Trump said Congress must act on immigration, but now he's sending a different message to Republicans, saying maybe they should wait until after the midterms. Just 3 days ago, the president traveled to Capitol Hill, urging Republicans to pass an immigration bill.
We had a great meeting.
And on Twitter, he declared now is the best opportunity ever for Congress to change the ridiculous and obsolete laws on immigration. Speaking to families whose loved ones were killed by undocumented immigrants today, the president said they're pushing for changes.
Your loss will not have been in vain. We will secure our borders.
But on Twitter, a direct message to the GOP. Republicans should stop wasting their time on immigration until after we elect more senators and congressmen women in November. Dems are just playing games, have no intention of doing anything to solve this decades-old problem. We can pass great legislation after the red wave. The president is frustrated Democrats won't sign on to a GOP immigration plan, but even Republicans themselves have struggled to unite around a proposal. On Thursday, a hardline measure failed in the House, and GOP leaders delayed votes on a compromise package because it lacked enough Republican support. Despite the president's tweet, House Republican leaders say they'll move forward with votes on that compromise immigration plan next week. But when it comes to finding enough votes to pass the plan, House Majority Whip Steve Scalise acknowledges it's a, quote, uphill fight. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, the White House.
8 passengers are suing Southwest Airlines over the mid-air engine failure that left a woman dead in April. Jennifer Reardon was nearly sucked out of the plane when debris from the engine broke a window during the flight. She was pulled back in but died later at the hospital. The plane made an emergency landing. Investigators found a fan blade was missing from the engine that failed. According to the suit filed Tuesday, the plaintiffs cite injuries including hearing loss and post-traumatic stress disorder. After the incident, Southwest gave all 144 passengers $5,000, a $1,000 credit towards Southwest airfare, as well as transportation to their final destination. AT&T is launching a streaming service. The company says Watch TV will feature TV channels it now owns after purchasing Time Warner. The service will allow customers to stream more than 30 live channels, including CNN, TBS, TNT, on mobile devices, which Watch TV is the company's first big product rollout since the closing of the Time Warner deal last week. The merger was held up in court for months after the Justice Department tried to block it, claiming the combination would harm competition and raise prices for consumers. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Coe. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.
Florida Studio Theater presents Always Patsy Cline, extended due to popular demand. A tuneful tribute, the story of Patsy's rise to stardom is told by her biggest fan. Featuring such hit songs as Walkin' After Midnight, I Fall to Pieces, Crazy, and many more you know and love. Critics are calling Always Patsy Cline a genuine hit. Audiences are calling it outstanding. Always Patsy Cline is now playing. Tickets can be purchased at 941-366-9000 or floridastudiotheater.org.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining. Like ABC7 WWSB on Facebook.